We talked about all the young talent that the US have at the moment, and so many of them going to high-profile leagues like the Bundesliga. There seems to be a little bit of a disconnect at the moment with all that talent and the progress of the national team. Jurgen, I've covered the national team for 20 years, and I've never seen this level of disenchantment, even disinterest from the fan base as to where the national team is at the moment. Why is that? I mean, and what can be done about it? I know that's a big subject, but just if you could give us one thing.
Yeah, it's very difficult for me. Obviously, I was in charge for 5.5 years, and I enjoyed it really a lot. And I'm very grateful that I had this opportunity and had these experiences with the team, with the federation, with the fans. It was a fantastic time. I mean, we got through the group of death in Brazil, which nobody ever expected. We went into a Final Four in Copa America in 2016. I helped I don't know how many players to get their move over to Europe to prove themselves. Some made it, some came back in MLS, which is no shame. So they gave it a shot. So what happened now the last 2 or 3 years is very sad. It's really sad because the team belonged into Russia. They belonged into the World Cup. The qualification was pretty much done. Then it happens, the big disaster in Trinidad and Tobago, which nobody ever could imagine. So this threw back the whole national team program for many years. It throws it back, because now there's a lack of belief. There's a lack of enthusiasm. There's a lack of leadership at the end of the day. So it's a very, very difficult job that now Greg Berhalter has on his hands, to rebuild this entire program, which we were actually in a good place. It was progressing. I said, I take that team in Russia into the final 8 or even in the final 4 because it was a building block. It was all laid out. It was all there was a plan for it, but the plan got interrupted. Then got even more interrupted when we didn't qualify then for Russia, and it's sad. It's really sad because it's exactly the opposite what happened, compared to the women's program,
right.
Which I'm a big fan of too. So hopefully they get it in back on track, and I keep really my fingers crossed for Greg that he gets all the support that he needs to get it on the right track.
One last quick thing before we let you go. Thank you for your time. Germany this summer, Euro 2020. Have they done what they needed to do to fix things after 2018?
Yeah, I think Germany needed a big wake-up call. It's a bit part of our culture. When things are going too well, they get complacent, a little bit arrogant maybe, and then they got their lesson in Russia. They got kicked butt and got sent home. They learned out of that. Jogi Löw, fantastic coach, he got his lesson too. He accepted it and he reshaped the team. He made some very, very big cuts in the roster, and the way he did now the qualification for the Euros was top class. They will be in the top 4 in Europe. That's where they belong. The expectations of the German soccer fans is win the European Championship. There's no other expectation. Now that's just part of our history. As 4 times world champions, 3 times European champions, the people expect you to win the tournament. If you finish in the Final 4 and a better team beats you in the semi-final, that's accepted.
Right.
That's no problem. Then you give the opponent, you give them a compliment, give them a hug, and you move on to the next one that you want to win. But expectations for us is always win the thing.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.